welcome to 5 Minutes to Wellness, a 2-week series of videos with quick coping tools to help you maintain well-being in life and relationships during this unprecedented time of COVID-19. I'm Jenna, a licensed counselor and owner of Georgetown Child and Family Counseling. We know that these times have added stress with more distractions, restless kids, tension at home. Listen, I know that you're feeling this personally. I know that you're feeling it at work and economically. We don't want your wellness sacrificed. These videos are gonna help you recenter. They're gonna help you build up helpful tools so that you can be well and so that you can cope in these difficult times. So expect a daily email from me for the next 2 weeks with something very quick and actionable. The videos are gonna be short, so you can just play them and listen. And the biggest thing is put it into action. So today's simple tip is the first in our series, and it's all about boundaries. And maybe you've heard about boundaries. Of course, you've heard that word before, and maybe you've talked about it in relationships or with your finances. But simply put, boundaries, a boundary is a limit. Think of it as a property line. It shows what belongs to one thing and what belongs to another. So boundaries come in a lot of different forms, and most of those are invisible boundaries and ones that we don't naturally think about. So today, why I'm bringing this up is because with the blending of work, with home, with changes all around us with COVID-19, we're adjusting our whole lives. But what we maybe haven't looked at is how we've adjusted our boundaries. So my tip for you is to look at boundaries in a couple of key areas, and I'm going to give you 3 that I think might be useful right now. But we want to make sure that you're allowing what you want in your life in. You're keeping those things that are serving you well, that are good for you, and that you're also keeping out those things that are not healthy, that are not serving you well. And so, one thing I want to share is that in times of stress, what we naturally want to do, or our natural behavior, is not always going to be what's helpful for us. For instance, when I get stressed, I often crave really unhealthy food, but that's not good for me, especially in that time, because it's physically adding more stress to my body. But yet we go for comfort. So some pretty common areas that I want you to think about today in terms of boundaries is first, information. We are consuming a lot of information. You're at home more often perhaps. The news is sending out all sorts of alerts. Social media, you might have more time on social media. We have all of these links that pops up, new information, read the latest about COVID-19. There's nothing wrong with that if you're informing yourself, but there is a limit where the information is no longer informing, but it's actually increasing anxiety. So I want you to think about some limits and some boundaries you have around information like the news and social media. And also, are you setting some boundaries for your children? Because what the news communicates to our children may not be age appropriate. It might not be something that they can understand and might even increase their fear and anxiety. So are you setting some boundaries around that? A simple tip, use earbuds and limit yourself to 10 minutes of the news in the morning and maybe 10 minutes at night. And then maybe 30 minutes on social media. Another tip you can do is you can take the apps of social media off of your phone so you're less likely to go and jump in and check statuses and so forth. So the second boundary that you can look at is time. Being at home and not having to travel to work, or having children maybe at home that you're now homeschooling and juggling it all has really changed our time. So some tips is, even though you don't have your regular work schedule, create a schedule for yourself, a daily routine for you and your children. Go to bed at a regular time. Make sure that you're sleeping at night, not during the day, and getting up and getting yourself ready and dressed for the day. It can be casual, but that you're doing things that feel like a routine, because that's good for us, and also helpful if we carve out time for work and for home. Right now I'm sharing this video from home, but I have a very specific space and time that I've set aside for my working hours, and it's helped me a lot, because when we blend all these things, it can feel really chaotic in our head. The third area I want you to look at is the physical boundaries that you are setting around your personal care. And by that I mean sleep hygiene. When you're going to bed, when you're waking up at night, working out physically, carving out time for that, getting showered and taking care of your personal hygiene. When we're not out and about doing our normal thing, we often get out of a good routine. So we want to stick to those things. So again, it's boundaries around the information we're consuming, the time and how we're spending it in our routines, and then our physical care. And this is good for your children as well as for adults. So today, just take a moment, think about your own personal boundaries. Where are they sitting? Are you letting things in that are not useful and helpful for you? Are you not doing things that you know would be helpful for you? Does any of that need adjusting? If so, write it down. That's so powerful. We are much more likely to act on things when we put it in writing and let somebody know, hey, I'm going to start this new routine. This is what I'm committing to for the next week, 2 weeks. Tomorrow, look for another email in your inbox with tips for wellness. And if you found this useful, I hope that you will share it. Please send it to a friend. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, you can subscribe to our newsletter below. I wish you well, and I will see you tomorrow.